Yeah, sorry.
Okay, still 6:33, and we're ready to convene a meeting of the Facilities Committee. So call to order is at 6:33 p.m. officially, and we'll go ahead and call the roll. Mr. Gilbert. Here. Mr. Crispin here. Mrs. Hageman.
Here.
Mr. Runkle. Mr. Elam. Here. Mrs. Sebastian.
Here.
And Mrs. Reese. Any additions to tonight's agenda? Any communications, meetings, announcements? On to section 5, the meat of tonight's meeting, items for discussions and subcommittee reports. I'll go ahead and start with the Peterson update from the core meeting, June 13th, 2023. Finished painting is wrapping up in the balance of the building. We'll be moving to final touch-ups and punch list work soon. Quartz tile and carpet flooring is close to wrapping up in area 9. We'll be working the corridor from there back to the dining room and then flow into the dining room and the stage. Gymnasium floor will be the last to be installed at the end of June. Final cleaning began in areas 5 and 6 right after Memorial Day. They're continuing south through the building, and we'll do one final touch-up throughout the building before full turnover to the district. Final punch list reviews by Garmin Miller have begun. Final building department, state fire marshal inspections are to begin early July to work toward occupancy by the end of the month. The exterior site finish work is ongoing, final topsoil grading and seeding as weather permits. And working counter to that as far as weather forecasting is track surfacing. We want it to be dry for track, but we need rain for the grass. So we'll figure it out. Anyways, they have started that this week, and the final fence installation is ongoing, as well as the shot put discus pit installations as discussed. But yeah, so the punch list is darn near complete on the north end, and I believe the final cleaning is going to be done by the end of this week. So that north end is ready to roll. So
is that just construction speak for checklist?
Punch list is Jason Schulte, who is one of our GMA folks, just walks through, and I've gone with him on a few of those walks and just looking for areas that need extra painting, or tiles aren't fitting together, or there are baseboards that might be coming loose or aren't fitting correctly. Just all those little things.
Imperfection.
That's imperfections or things that just don't fall in that standard deviation of like you're not going to get anything better. So and so it's actually just a lot, but now's the time to do it, because once Peterson leaves and everybody leaves, it's hard to get them back. And I've lived through that, and that can be pretty frustrating when you find things that aren't right and trying to get folks to come back and fix them and make them right. It's pretty tough. So it's great that the project's been on time and we've been able to do that ahead of time. Because a lot of times that doesn't happen right till the end when inspections and all that's going on and things get missed and that type of thing. So again, that's just from my experience. So we are slated to move into the kindergarten, first grade, and second grade wings week of July 10th, and that looks like that's going to happen because all of this work is going to be done. What else is happening? over there with K5. The field's been fixed. Disappointed Caleb's not here. I was going to ask him to do another flyover and get some more pictures for us now that the B's been fixed and the tracks are, they've been over there since the beginning of the week, starting to get ready to put the latex down track. Don Black and his crew are going to be back out tomorrow to continue work on the road that connects, the back of the parking lot to the K5 parking lot, and then once that section over by the K5 building is done, we'll be ready to bring in the concrete trucks, lay the footer for that. Let's see, just trying to stick with new build stuff. Lori, anything that playground equipment, we've processed that. They've already prepped the area, got it down to grade, and I've already disconnected the pieces that are going to be going over. And so that installation will be taking place within the month as we wait for the big new piece, which we're grateful for the PTO and their fundraising efforts to be able to work.
Can you kind of describe that, what that is, on the new big piece?
The new big piece is going to look like the one that's out here.
Oh,
yep. Oh, I think it's going to almost be identical, same color scheme.
And I noticed there were some alternates on the playground quote. Are we planning to do those, or do we know? I assumed it was a couple of smaller pieces.
Yeah, I think that there are no other new pieces other than the big structure. Then everything else is coming from.
I just noticed it looked different.
Was it the mulch versus the synthetic? That might be out there. So, and I think we're slated for mulch.
It said star optional add-on. There's 5 game time belt seat 3.5 inch and 2 game time expression swing 10. Now maybe those were included. I don't know, because when you looked at the quote.
Yeah, I think we had to, per their recommendation, the swings were a bit outdated, worn.
Gotcha. Okay.
Their recommendation, the
Okay.
structure that you hang the chains from and the swings were fine. But they recommended the swings and.
Okay. Well, I wasn't, so we are doing that add-on. I just wasn't sure what that was. And I was like,
Thank you for that.
yeah, no, I should have been speaking. And I know I mentioned to the board the contingency money, and I think Jeremy just sent something right before this. That's all going to be working out. And we should be getting a little more contingency back because athletic boosters covered the running the electric back there, and some of the propane. And we won't need as much for CDC consulting. I'm not sure if that was excavation or testing. They didn't think they need quite as much for that. So contingency's looking in pretty good shape.
Yeah, I didn't get to look at that email. When stomach's always a little upset going into board meetings.
No, it's good. It's good news. It was good news.
You just never know.
It's actually great news because the contingency is we still have contingency. So if this late, that's always a good thing. And so I think
they've been awesome. Other pieces are furniture that we've ordered not only for the new building but also for the middle school rooms that, well, former elementary rooms that are now going to be middle school rooms will be delivered next week, 27th. So glad to get that stuff in and at least on site. They'll be able to assemble stuff and stage it here, and then we'll move it over in August. Get in there. the home bleachers, the solution for the new stadium for visitor seating is going to be going to move the home bleachers from our current stadium over. Give us there are 400 or 500 seats capacity for the home bleachers. It saves, and that cost is being picked up by the boosters, and it's going to be about $40,000. New set of bleachers is going to run us about 96 is what we got from the that was the low bid. We put those out to bid this spring, so quite a savings for our boosters. Other things going on with the facilities, as I mentioned, Todd's crew of student workers and adult workers have been incredibly busy staging all the boxes and furniture for the move, not only over to the K-5 building, but also into the elementary rooms that are going to be vacated. So it's hallways of boxes and stacked desks, and they're also cleaning and painting and getting all of those things ready, all those rooms ready. I think actually the middle school office will be moved. It's going to be the first thing to be moved. That's going to move into the elementary offices next week. So it's happening. We're waiting to get a ship date for our partitions for the middle school restrooms. Other than that, that's the key piece. We don't want to tear those restrooms apart and then just be waiting and not knowing when those will be able to be used. So we're trying to get that timed up a little better before we start tearing them all apart. And then the modulars, according to Todd, those will be cleaned out by the end of this week. And so we will send notice to end that lease. We're required to give a 30-day notice. And then Todd will have to take care of the electricity, cutting those lines and prepare those to move. I think that is a cursory overview of all the different things going on with facilities.
Are we going to change the lettering on the entrances?
Yes, just got a quote from in Carlisle. We're going to come and move those over. Take the elementary down, move the school over.
And so then the middle is going to be blank. Right? Okay, great. Excellent.
Any questions, comments, red flags? All right, hearing of the public. I don't think we have anything come forward. So we'll announce the next meeting is July 17th, 6:30 p.m. We'll plan on having it in here. And then I'll take a motion to entertain a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting.
I'll move.
I'll say.
Okay, call the roll. Mr. Gilbert.
Yes.
Mrs. Sebastian.
Yes.
Mr. Elam.
Yes.
Mrs. Hageman.
Yeah.
Mr. Crispin, yes. We're gonna adjourn tonight's meeting at 6:48. Yeah. Thank you.